let's take a look at the percentage of the country who say that we're on the right track. It's actually a very high percentage when you compare it to some historical numbers. What are we talking about? According to Marist, 45% say that we're on the right track. That's the second highest that Marist has measured since 2009. How about NBC News? 44%. That's the highest since 2004. Wow. The bottom line is the percentage of Americans who say we're on the right track is through the roof. And if you were to compare it to when presidents have historically been reelected, of course, Trump is not constitutionally eligible to run for re-election, but I think it sort of puts it in perspective. 42% of the country says the country is on the right track when the incumbent party is re-elected. And also keep in mind, back when Kamala Harris lost and the Democrats were turned out of power, only about 27 to 28% of the country said the country is on the right track. The bottom line is right now, a much higher percentage of the country says we're on the right track.
So despite all of the fear-mongering, despite all of the claims that Donald Trump is losing massive amounts of popularity, guess what? The largest amount of people in nearly 20 years believe that we are going in the right direction in this country. And of course, the reason this is happening is because Donald Trump has rebranded his presidency and of course the Republican Party as the party with the policies of common sense. This is exactly what he ran on. This is why he won the Electoral College. This is why he won the popular vote, right? He told people up front, this is what I'm going to do. And now he's doing it. And this actually includes a tremendous move by Donald Trump to mandate voter ID in upcoming elections. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break the algorithms. Here we go.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order for your attention on the very important subject of election integrity. We believe that this executive order is the farthest reaching executive action taken in the history of the Republic to secure our elections. Among numerous other aspects of this executive order, this is going to cut down on illegal immigrants on the voter rolls, ensure that the Department of Homeland Security and the data that they have available is being fully weaponized to ensure that illegal immigrants aren't voting. This will include a citizenship question on the federal voting form for the first time. This executive order instructs the EAC to cut federal funding to states that don't take reasonable steps to secure their election. This calls on the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute election crimes, particularly in states that we don't believe are in compliance with federal law around election integrity. I could go on for a while, sir, but compliance with National Election Day rules, cracking down and investigating and prosecuting foreign interference in our elections, revoking President Biden's Executive Order 14019, which essentially weaponized government to corrupt and pollute our election process. There's a lot in here, but we believe that these are very important steps that we need to be taking as an administration at your direction to ensure that our elections are as secure as they possibly can be.
Okay, you all understand that? Yes? Mm-hmm. Election fraud, you've heard the term. We'll end it, hopefully. At least this will go a long way toward ending it. There are other steps that we will be taking in the coming weeks, and we think we'll be able to end up getting fair elections. Perhaps some people think I shouldn't be complaining because we won in a landslide, but we got to straighten out our election. This country is so sick because of the election, the fake elections and the bad elections, and we're going to straighten it out one way or the other. And it's an honor to sign this one. To sign all of them, but to sign this one is a great honor.
So this is something that is actually sorely needed. We have to have voter integrity, and the easiest way to do that is through voter identification, all right? So even though the Democrats are out there saying, yes, our elections are safe, they're secure, right? You know how many stories have popped up about, cities, counties, states where people were actually caught cheating, right? And those are just the ones we've caught. We've had a myriad of those stories over the last 4 years, right? And funny how the Democrats always seem to be really quiet about it, and they always seem to be the ones actually perpetrating these fiascos, okay? But yes, this is a winning issue because if you come over here to Pew Research, 81% of Americans believe that yes, you should have a government-issued photo identification in order to be able to vote, right? It just makes common sense. sense. We are the only country in the Western world that does not require it. And it's idiotic that we don't, right? Now, of course, Donald Trump is just issuing this executive order, all right? And that will only last as long as his presidency. And of course, it's going to be challenged in the meantime. But when you actually look at the Constitution over here in Article 1, the times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the places of choosing senators. So yes, elections are actually left up to the states. However, that's only for senators and representatives. To get guidance on presidential elections, you have to, of course, go over to the 12th Amendment. But even there, they're only talking about how the elections are going to take place. And if we come over here to the Daily Mail, we can actually see that, yes, Trump makes the ultimate move to combat election fraud, in quotations, with sweeping executive order that could cost 21.3 million people the right to vote. Wrong. It would only cost 21.3 million people if they were not citizens, right? If we dig into this article a little bit, yes, Donald Trump signed an executive order making radical changes to ensure elections are free, fair, and honest, and possibly taking millions off the voter rolls. Yeah, the people who have, say, passed on, right? How many times have we seen, oh, here's a person who's 120 and they're still voting. Ah, this is truly amazing. Oh, here's a person who no longer lives in this state and they're still voting. Interesting, that tends to keep happening. Trump signed an order that includes requiring documentary proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections and demanding that all ballots be received by election day, including putting a citizenship question on the federal voting form. Imagine that. It would mean voters would have to provide forms of ID, driver's license, birth certificate, passport to be able to vote, and the federal government would be able to work with state and local officials to verify that information, because heaven forbid you actually make sure that people who are voting are able to vote, all right? The order also eliminates postmarked by deadlines on mail voting, a DOJ review of voter registration databases, limiting the use of electronic ballots, and plans to withhold federal assistance to non-compliant states, right? You have all of these places who are allowing votes to be counted weeks after they're received. And it's completely insane when you're trying to actually get election results on election day as we used to could, right? Voting rights groups have expressed concerns that requirement could disenfranchise people. An estimated 9% of U.S. citizens of voting age, or 21.3 million people, do not have proof of citizenship readily available according to studies. This is completely ridiculous because everyone has access to voter ID, to driver's licenses, to passports, right? It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and yes, a little bit of money. But guess what? There's grants and aid to help with all of that. So there is no excuse for someone not being able to come up and identify, I'm actually this person at a polling booth. And of course, where's the teeth in all of this? Pulling out the federal funding. So many states are so heavily reliant on the federal dollars that they will not have any choice but to go ahead and acquiesce to this mandate. Which of course means that in the future, our elections will be more safe, more secure for total realsies this time. All right. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.